66K BTC. Things are looking hot out there at the moment, but maybe time for a little pullback. So we're going to look at a ton of these altcoins today. We're going to focus on BTC and some of the shorts that we took yesterday. We're going to cover some of those as well. Then we've got ETH narrative plays here. ETH is looking very good. It's time to turn on. It's time to look at some banger ETH plays. I've got some setups here for you guys that are cooking. Let's get right into this. And remember, as always, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. And what must I do to get this man in a rainbow? I don't understand, bro. The rainbow is the best. Can we have Rainbow Ray back, please? Thank you so much. Okay, so banter bubbles. And again, you know what? Cardano is back, ADA. And Bogdan was shouting at me in the chats yesterday. And look at this thing, 16%. And Matic, the ultimate shitcoin. If Matic starts pumping, we know things are happening with ETH at the moment. So Matic top left, looking pretty good there at the moment. And some of the old tokens waking up again. So things are looking interesting. Can somebody tell me why CAS is now 7% down? That is turning into shitcoin central as well. That thing looks like it's falling over. So I've got a CAS chart for you guys. We will take a look at that today. But let's quickly talk BTC. Let's see what we're doing. Okay. And the chart that I've got for you, Mark Dutch. Yes, sir. How are you? The chart that I've got for you here, BTC on the 2 hour. And you can see we're just turning over a little bit here now on BTC. And I've highlighted 2 zones here for you guys. These white boxes that you see here are the hot liquidity zones in these liquidation heat maps here that we have there. So I've made it a little simpler for you guys. I've highlighted these 2 zones. So for me, if we do get a little meltdown here, just based on those liquidation hot zones, we're looking at number 1, 74,500, that type of region there. If we do get a little pump higher, looking for shorts again, 77,500. That is what we're going to have our eyes on. These are the 2 hot zones here based on the liquidation zones. I like the tie into the downside with that 236 fib and some horizontal. So that is an interesting zone for me there as well. And then if things really start melting down, folks, brace yourself. 73K, no changes here. That for me is a nice banger bounce zone for us on BTC. And I see, was that Anna saying a little dump happened? I mean, she's watching the 3-minute candles, obviously, because this looks a little bit rangy at the moment. But I must say, I'm a little bit relieved because we shorted this thing last night, okay? Directly after Jerome Powell finished putting us to sleep. There was one final pump on BTC. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that thing yesterday. And Ray and myself, and I think DJ and Dave, we also jumped into this BTC short. So we've been hanging into this thing or hanging onto this thing all day long and playing lots of games here at the moment. So things are looking okay from that front. If we take into account those liquidation zones that I just spoke to you about, you can see I've got some limit sell orders higher up. 77,300, 77,499. Those are the 2 sell zones for me. If we do get some kind of push higher, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir. Is 𝗬𝗟 at entry? Is 𝗬𝗟 pinging there?
I believe 𝗬𝗟 is about to hit our banger TP and reversal zone. I believe that is going to be happening now. So we're going to take a look at 𝗬𝗟 in a second. Don't worry. I've got that one. I've got that one ready for you guys. So BTC, you can see the plan. Okay, this is my current short situation, and I am in a scalp FDM long. That's the same long from yesterday. All I've done is add a little bit to that position. So no changes on FTM other than I added a little bit earlier today. So let's see. You can see my current stop 0.7034 is my current stop on Phantom at the moment. So if BTC starts pushing higher and I get rinsed out of the short, we covered here with some Phantom longness that should help me into that resistance band. So that is the story. No, is XRP outperforming CAS? Come on. This is not right. This is not right. Okay, so BTC, you've got the levels here on the 2 hour. I just want to point something out to everybody without coming across like a bear. Every time we get a pump, I just want you guys to see what is going on. Look at BTC on the 4 hour, and I want to use this example. You can see this price going up, okay? RSI ticking down. Okay, bearish divergence playing out on BTC at the moment. Is that a sign that there could be a little bit of short-term downside? So I'm just giving you what I see before you guys get angry with me in the chats telling me I'm a massive bear. But yeah, look at, you can see it for yourself. A little bit of divergence here. Pay attention, pay attention. That's all I want to say on that front. Now, if anybody else fell asleep last night with us while we were watching Jerome Powell, and you can see the 𝗘𝗫𝗟𝗃 letter, the key point here is at the bottom. We are seeing little to no surprise in the Fed's decision. So basically, labor market's not a source of inflation pressure. Yes, core inflation remains elevated in recent data. Possible that any administration or Congress could have an effect that matters. Recent bond moves, blah blah blah, have gained confidence that inflation is heading to 2%. It was pretty boring. The market actually didn't do anything yesterday, and we were looking for a little bit of excitement. And then bar chart says stock market hits most overvalued level since the peak of the .com bubble. Probably fine. Inverse bull. That sounds a little bit dangerous to me. And Ivan says he's waiting for a pullback to allocate more. Look, what I'm seeing out there at the moment, folks, and this is for everybody, we don't know that Bitcoin can't pump a little bit more. We can only take into account information that's in front of us and past experience of what we've seen in the market. So, you know, we know Bitcoin, when it's bullish, it likes to do its thing. So my current strategy now, if you didn't get those banger entries 6 or 7 days ago when we were at those lows, now we are chasing scalps. These are short-term entries that we are looking at the moment. The best entries that you can hold for long-term moves were the dump moves from 6 or 7 days ago. Now, any new trades that we are taking here, these are going to be short-term scalp plays. We're looking for 7%, 10%, those types of moves to the upside, because we know at some point we get a correction. At some point we get a proper Bitcoin correction, and that really wrecks those altcoins and then starts sending them lower. So just be careful. Those of you scalping in these types of areas, there's bearish divergence there, also at resistance. Yes, they can go more. Of course, they can go more, but just I just want you guys to be safe. That's all I want. Okay, let's talk S&P. And we're nearly at the 6,000 target, and it's nearly time to start pulling out the short clubs here at 6,000 on the S&P 500. So I'm going to be looking for a short in that type of region on my Prime XBT account. We're going to give it a go. Okay, so we're nearly there. 6,042 is what I'm looking at. So let's just get a push into that zone. We'll start looking when the time is right. So that's going to looks like it's going to be in the next couple of days. If we push into that zone, I think there's going to be some kind of short-term short there. And then something you guys might have noticed already, and we touched on this yesterday, Trump won and 𝗘𝗢𝗟𝗪 user numbers went up 40%. Attention is shifting back towards DeFi. We touched on Aave the other day. I'm talking Aave again today. I'm also talking Uniswap, because I think that could be an interesting one for you guys. And then Bitcoin Archive telling us Google searches for Bitcoin are surging as the price hits 76K to make a record high this week. Okay, so guys are getting interested again, but look what Ben Cowan is telling us. He's looking at the YouTube data on all the crypto channels, and the YouTube views on these crypto channels are still running at a quarter of what they were averaging in 2021. So that's interesting data. And you'll know, okay, when these things start firing up again, you'll know retail is back, because the amount of viewers that you can see on this show are going to be 2 times, 3 times more than what you're seeing now in these conditions. So they will come back in hordes at some point when these things start firing. So just interesting data, the amount of views at the moment. And look, a lot of it had to do with COVID. I think people were bored sitting at home watching YouTube channels all day and doing those things. So things have changed a little bit. You know, people are back to work and those types of things, slightly different environment here. Okay, so that is the deal. Prime XBT, you've got your BTC levels. Then our Radium short from yesterday, that is still cooking. Ray, call, bro. What a call. Okay, we still good. And Radium now, look, turning over. So maybe we're going to be okay here. And just we're holding tight here, Ray. Let this thing come down. I mean, it was a 30% pump or something that we were looking at. So anybody else took Radium there with us? That's a banger. So far, so good. And then let's talk Ben Cowan again. Now, Benjamin Cowan. And Desert says, this show is the highlight of my day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And Ben Cowan says, after the last rate cut, BTC dominance dropped for 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, sound familiar? Before going back up. So the real risk time for alt BTC pairs to bleed again, maybe later this month. Okay, remember what happens at the end of every month? July, August, September, October. What happens? We have dumps every single time. So that is something to think about as well in the short term. As the first rate cut showed, rate cuts seem to be a good for alt BTC pairs, but a 50 basis points was not enough to change the trend. I suppose it's time to see 75 is enough. Okay, so he's basically saying, just watch out. Okay, it's good for a little bit, and then maybe there's some kind of reversal. Now we've had 6 months of dumps at the beginning of every new month. Okay, let's not think we're not going to get something like that come early December as well, or even later on this month in November. And then here is our dominance chart. So no changes. Nice to see a little bit of red here on the weekly. Okay, I'm quite relieved because I've been calling a rejection in the zone for a while, and I was getting a little bit edgy there, thinking, how can these walls of steel that I've created on my chart allow the price to go through? But fortunately now it is turning red and it is doing what it's supposed to do. So a little rejection there. That is obviously solid for alts. And then our ETH BTC chart, which we're talking about today, the ETH ecosystem and things like that, looking good now. And I'm going to show you an ETH USD chart that is sitting at the 200-day moving average. And you can see the ETH BTC chart still has 20% to go to get to that 200-day moving average. So ETH could play some quick catch up here. And now I know I've been an ETH bro for a very long time, but now we've broken trend. So now the broness is coming back hard for you guys. Okay, let's go. Oh, before we get into all the source, guys, bear with me for 1 second. I want to give away and I want to tell you about a new exchange. Okay, so first things first, let's just do this. There's a new exchange on the horizon. Okay, this is BitUnix, and they've partnered with Banter, and they've got an exclusive offer for you guys. There is a link in the description below. Okay, they've got an exclusive trading contest. Deposit to get 20% rebate up to $400. So it sounds like up to $8,000 deposit, you're going to get a 20% rebate from these guys. And then there's trade to win a trip to Dubai and 6,000 USDT prize pool. Okay, so if you're interested in free money, there's a link in the description below under the show document there. Go grab it. It's in the description. Take advantage of that. And then I want to talk to you guys about Bitfunded. And I actually forgot to tell you, there is a Black Friday special on Bitfunded. Remember, prop trading, we're using other people's money. If you sign up with the link below, then you buy 2 of these entry-level packages, then they will give you a 3rd one for free. Okay, so very simple as that. There's a link in the description for you guys below. Sign up there, buy 2, they give you another trading account for free. Okay, so that is their Black Friday special. Now, let's get into business. This is the most important video of the day. ETH waking up after 5 months of downtrending. Do you concur, Ray?
I totally concur. I remember watching this as a kid.
I watched this a lot. I think I even remember this exact one. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember this as a kid. Fuck.
I actually really think I remember that. Okay, and then here's Jiraiya. Okay, I'm hiring, he says. Bidding some Pepe. Fairly confident ETH will retake 3,500. Agree. Okay. ETH Eco will likely catch a bid. Aave, agree. Pendle, agree. Okay, RWA play as well, and DeFi play. ENA, haven't touched that one today. Pepe, agree. Okay, so nice comments here. Mindshare has significantly increased in the last 48 hours too. That is looking good. The grandpas are buying ETH again. Okay, Ethereum poised for 3,200 breakout at ETH. ETF inflow surge post-Trump victory. Okay, they're buying it. ETH is coming alive again. And then Raul Paul, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but he's basically talking ETH, okay? Lost ground, coming back, okay? And these big guys are talking about it now. What happens? Okay, interest back in ETH. Now, I want to show you guys something quite incredible, is this rejection of the 200-day moving average. Look at that, absolute perfection. And again, you need to get this on your chart. The 200-day EMA is such a gold, such a piece of gold for me on my charts, and a beautiful little rejection there for ETH. So now what you want to see on ETH, and particularly what I want to see on ETH, because now I'm looking for an ETH entry. I'm currently chasing. I do not have an ETH entry anymore. I remember I closed my ETH position at this type of level. Now I want to rebuy this thing on these retests. So no changes to my plan. 2,800 is buy number 1. 2,720 is buy number 2, and then 2,580 if we need to. We don't really want to go that deep. Is going to be buy number 3 for me on ETH. So I'm going to build a nice big position there. We're not going to get FOMO. I'm going to buy it on these pullbacks. I'm going to buy on these dips into these types of zones. So there's no rush here for me. At some point, I know ETH is going to reject. Well, fuck, I hope so. Otherwise, we're going to start chasing trend breakouts and these types of moves into those types of zones. So lots of work to do here for ETH. I'm obviously hoping for some kind of pullback here onto about 2.8 so that I could start getting stuck into that one. So yeah, a little bit of patience on that. Then 𝗚𝗡𝗡, guys, now we know there's a 40% upside coming on 𝗚𝗡𝗡. I showed you guys that chart the other day, and it looks like clear skies ahead. Naturally, we've had a break now. Naturally, we're filming a flag, and we need to take advantage if we get an opportunity. So for me, I'm trying to be as patient as possible. 166 on 𝗚𝗡𝗡. That level hasn't changed. I would love to see a little bit more downside here. Bang into that zone, then a little send for us. So 166 for me on 𝗚𝗡𝗡 looks like the hot zone. If you are desperate to be in an 𝗚𝗡𝗡 position, 175.7 is your current support. Okay, that is our 236 fib, and that is bullish support, but it's dangerous support. That's why I always make it red, because I want you guys to understand this 236 is danger zone for us. And yes, sir.
I was gonna say being desperate isn't sexy, guys. So the same way the girls don't like it, the charts don't like it.
Nice, Ray. Nice, Ray. Nice, Ray. So, okay, let's just rephrase that. Okay, if you want to be in a position, or if you are in a position, your first line of support, 175.75. Where would I buy this? 166. So my problem is here, if it runs from here, I'm not in it, but I'm not buying it here. Okay, I'm going to look at 166, and I believe at some point we do come back and we visit the VWAP and the 382. So I'd love to see just a dip into that zone, little consolidation, then some kind of bounce. That is zone number one for me. 166, waiting patiently. Then a little bit lower down, we'll deal with that if we need to. 150, not on the table just yet. Okay, so that is 𝗚𝗡𝗡's game plan there. Then let's talk Uni. Now, this one is interesting. So Uni's been an absolute pumper, and we are nearly in our first hot zone. Now, we don't have tons of horizontal cover, but we do have horizontal cover. You can see we've got some support in the zone, and I did highlight this earlier for the Sniper Club guys as well, and that is an area of interest for us. So we're moving into a horizontal zone. We're moving into a place where I expect a reaction on this area. So Uni is starting to look a little bit more interesting to me than, say, 𝗚𝗡𝗡. And that for me is 8.5 that I'm watching. So 8.5, interesting zone for me on Uni. If there is a hard dump on Bitcoin, I expect this candle to get wrecked. Okay, I expect them to take that candle out pretty quickly. So just be careful there. If you are looking for entries here, you're nibbling at these lows, you're nibbling on the dips. Then when you're breaking that trend, then you're adding, then you're getting aggressive. So right now, if we want to try and catch these reversals on these zones, it's 8.53 and it's 7.8. You nibble on those areas as low as possible. When you get momentum, you add, you send. Okay, very simple game plan. Look out for that candle. You can see it's not a pretty looking candle, and quite often they want to come and just reset that and take out that liquidity down there. So just be careful. Those are the hot zones for Uni. I believe Uni is a pumper. Okay, really, so, like seriously, I believe this thing can move. And let's just look at some upside targets here for you, and we'll keep it simple. Okay, we'll just go look at these horizontals. We just want to bang this out there. Okay, so for me, Uni, 11.66 looks like a reasonable target here for us. Let's just see the size of this thing. Let's assume it bounces off that 382. Okay, there's a 38% there for us. Okay, at some point, that 38% move comes. Yes, sir.
I was going to say I concur with that, especially the way Radium moved. So if the narrative shifts to ETH, Uniswap might really pump like a Radium fractal.
Yes. Okay. So, and remember, the whole situation with the SEC, they might be a little bit more lenient with some of the regulations and stuff. So that is why this DeFi is picking up again. So it's very important to have some of this in your armory. And that is why I love 𝗚𝗡𝗡 and I love Pendle. Uni, I haven't really touched in a very long time, but you can see this thing can be a pumper. And if you want a piece of that, those are your big zones that you're going to watch. Now, Metis, another one, layer 2 on ETH. And I think there's a vibe behind this thing. I think there is a bit of action to come. And what I'm watching here on Metis, just like we've seen with ETH rejecting off the 200-day EMA, look at that. 200-day EMA rejection here on Metis, but things are looking interesting for us. If you remember the chart that I gave you guys about a week ago on Metis, we were looking at a couple of big targets. And target number one was, well, it's this one. It's been hit. Okay, it was 45. Our next zone for Metis, 50. And then our upside target here is 61 that I'm looking at on Metis. So that is a move that we are looking for here of roughly another 32% there on Metis. Now, you can obviously trade this on leverage or you can trade this on spot. And if we take a look at the size of these actual moves out here, you can see there's a lot more to come. Okay, so just plan your trades accordingly. And with regards to Metis, if we want to talk a couple of levels here, you can see this thing is looking slightly better on this time frame than, say, 𝗬𝗡𝗅 and some of the other guys, and looking a little bit more aggressive. So I'm watching this one very closely. I want to see this pop of the 200-day MA. If we can get across the 200-day MA, I suspect this thing really starting to fly. So watching this very closely here. Metis, when you get that break above 46.5, if you get a hard break above 46.5, you can start looking for longs in that zone, and you're going to put your stop under the breakout candle, or alternatively, you're going to put it under that 236 level, which is about 44 at the moment. So what you can use now, I mean, you're at resistance, okay? So there's no actual trade just yet on this thing, but when you get that pop, you can use 44, support number 1, and then I've got big support here for you guys, 42.3. So even if you get a dip now, some kind of market pullback, 42.3 is also a big banger for me. But the ad zone, the place where we really press on these trades, is when we blow through that 200-day MA, because we're going to use it as support later on when it comes back. Okay, so make sure that 200-day MA is critical. We want to blow that thing. Okay, let's talk Arbitrum as well, another ETH play, and this one I think this is a worthy spot trade right here. Okay, so this is a low level or spot position here. If you want to take this on, you can see Arbitrum is starting to break this trend, but what is interesting to me is the level of support that I have to the downside. So Arbitrum traders, the reason it's a spot trade is because of the size of the risk here from this current position. But what you've got here, 0.544, you've got your 100-day MA, you've got your anchored VWAP, you've got your 382, you've got your horizontal. So for me, that is a nice juicy support zone that you can work with. Look at that nice set of horizontals there as well. So we know we're going to get support there if there is further downside in the current market. But upside, you can see we've got another 28% here to that 200-day MA. So take a look at this one. If you're jumping in here, spot perspective, your risk is about 7%. Now, alternatively, if you're a filthy degen and you're looking for some kind of entry, well, what you can do is play the breakout. So you're basically going to look at it like this, and you're going to say, okay, cool, Arbitrum on the 1 hour is looking relatively bullish here. We are holding support. Maybe something is going to be happening here. So how do you play that? Well, number one, you got to see this pop through these horizontals. Okay, nice little level there. You can see what's brewing at the moment. We got these little squeezy setups that I like. So you're going to track Arbitrum now. Okay, these are for the hunters. Okay, the mentally disturbed degens. You're going to track that squeezy setup there on Arbitrum, and you're going to look for that pop. When you get that pop, then you're going to bang your stop under one of these candle lows or under that trend, because that's going to tell you if we lose the trend, then this thing is maybe falling over and turning a little bit bearish. So look out for that. The degen players, I'm talking about the leverage guys. So watch that rising trend. If we start losing that trend, possibly bearish, and then we're looking at these levels down here, the anchored VWAP, the 100-day MA, and that 382 fib region. So right now could be something brewing here. And what was that, Ray? Manta. What was that network, that comment there? Was it Manta? Manta network. Yes, we haven't looked at it in a while. Guys, remember, hit the likes, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. Okay, maybe I don't say it enough. And Ray, Ray doesn't have his rainbow on, so maybe there'll be more influence there, Ray. So can you come back with a rainbow, please? It's very important. I don't know why he doesn't bring the rainbow. I don't know why. Okay, let's go the next one. Pendle. I love this thing. Okay, I really like Pendle. I really think it's a good play. And here we are. So nice RWA narrative and DeFi combined into one here for us. And moving into our first hot zone here. Pendle 5.07. I really think this is a nice ETH play as well. I think there's a lot of strength here on this guy. So 5.07. 4.68. These are banger zones for me on Pendle. I'd like to see either one of these hold. If you're looking to accumulate a position, those two for me are the big ones that I would pay attention to. 5.07, 4.68 for me on Pendle. And then upside targets are pretty simple here at the moment. We've got 6.1 and we've got 7. So nice little zones up there for us to look at. And I really think this is a piece you want to have some spot on this thing. And in a churning market, I think this is going to be a little banger. So 22% and 42% for you guys. If it does dip to the lows at 4.68, you've got yourself about a 50% move coming on this pendle. So just manage your position size, manage your leverage size. Don't ape in like 20x on all these things. You can build these positions. The macro conditions have started moving in our favor. So we're no longer chasing short little pumps here on 20x leverage, just trying to get ahead quickly. We have time, okay? There's no rush, but let's play this nicely. Let's get pullbacks onto good zones. Let's build some positions like I'm doing with 𝗏𝗏. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to show you what I'm trying to do with WIF as well, and could be a nice one of your strategies. Now, have a scalping strategy, have a spot strategy, have a margin play strategy, and then maybe employ this type of strategy that I'm going to talk about in a second or two for you guys. Okay, so pendle, you know the drill there on that one. And then here's 𝗏𝗏. Okay, so I want to show you this one, and here's my 𝗏𝗏 position at the moment. Now we're getting a nice rejection on 𝗏𝗏, and you can see I've got a ton of limit orders sitting here in front of me on my screen. Now I'm going to show you the 𝗏𝗏 chart again, because this is my current strategy. I got a banger entry on 𝗏𝗏 a few days back. This thing is now pumped nicely, and now I would like to choose option 1. Take profit, close the trade, buy my wife a handbag. Option 2, be a little bit greedy and say, fuck it, I'm feeling a little bit macro bullish. I expect 𝗏𝗏 to hold any major pullbacks here, and I want to add to the position size so I can have a bigger position and maybe then get 2 handbags instead. Okay, so basically the game plan here is I've got limit orders at 1006, 0096, 0091. Now let me show you why I have limit orders in those zones. Okay, because these are my hot zones. So the exact hot zones that I've shown you on some of these other setups here on 𝗏𝗏, I expect some of these to get hit now on the way down. Ray, are we having a pullback? No, not a big one. Not a big one. Not a big one. I was about to get excited. I thought BTC was at 69K the way that
Casper's really having a pullback. Casper's getting wrecked.
Casper. Okay, guys, we're going to deal with Casper. Hang in there. Casper's coming. Casper's coming. Okay, so 𝗏𝗏, here's the deal, guys. If you missed 𝗏𝗏, okay, here's some entry levels for you that you can look at. 10059, okay, which is where I've got my limit order, that 1006. Okay, nice area. Everything down here. Look at this. 200-day EMA, 382, anchored VWAP, anchored VWAP, anchored VWAP, and then 0096. So that is also a hot zone there for us. Okay, so 2 nice little zones there on 𝗏𝗏, backed up by the 50-day EMA. And then a little bit lower down, we've got multiple zeros, 916. Okay, so that is my game plan. What am I looking for? Again, as simple as this. I'd expect something along these lines. Okay, and obviously we could be wrong, and we could get absolutely rinsed. But this is what I'm looking for on 𝗏𝗏. And that is the game plan. Okay, so let's see if that is now going to play out for us. If it doesn't, I get rinsed. Again, we start again. And well, I won't get rinsed. My entry will be probably at my stop will be at my entry by then. But you can see I've got a banger entry here. My average entry is 857. So far looking good. What I also got here, I got 𝗬𝗓𝗡, and yeah, a little bit of pullback here on 𝗬𝗓𝗡 at the moment, because this 𝗬𝗓𝗡 was cooking a little bit earlier today. And then 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗪, that's a trade we took earlier today. One of our Sniper Club members was looking at that thing, so we traded that one off some support. Let's see if that holds. It's still sitting there at the moment. Now let's talk poppies and let's talk WIF, and just an update on our competition. Poppy's playing games with me. I'm still there and thereabouts. I'm probably around 15th at the moment on my PopCat trade. But the ZoomX comp is really now starting to fly. 𝗙𝗎𝗪s has been overtaken by, I think this is DJ and Dave, because he's short Cetus at the moment. And that was one of the shorts he took last night. And he's in line to win $8,500 now. 𝗙𝗎𝗪s the second, $5,000. Maruk from Sniper Club also $3,000. Meme Master is James from Sniper Club as well. And he's got $875. So that's the money these guys are going to win for being in the ZoomX comp. It is still open. If you want to join the ZoomX comp, there's a link in the description. Join us. And I'm only trading PopCat in this thing. And here we go. Okay, so Poppies is falling over nicely. And we're moving into our PopCat ad zone again. So I added when PopCat dropped into this zone the first time. I'm going to add again in this region. It's not going to be a big buy. I'm going to add a position on PopCat here, 1.47. Then I'm going to add some more poppies here at 1.42. So these are the hot zones. Obviously, I'd like it to bounce. That would be very pleasant if we could get that bounce there. So that's my game plan. Those are my zones at the moment for PopCat. So trying to build that position. And look, it's been very volatile, up, down, but it's coming. And then I've actually got a PopCat bot. Again, I'm not going to show you yet, but I've got a bot coming for you guys. It's so cool. Okay, we've called it the pussy bot. Only trades Popcat, okay, and Mew or one of these things. But the stuff's coming and it's cool. And I'm busy trialing it at the moment. And I believe it opened a short for me about 20 minutes ago. So it actually, my trading view, I set the alarm to the sound of a cat. So whenever the bot opens a new trade, I get a meow, and then I know the pussy bot is on. And it's quite exhilarating, this thing opening trades and closing trades for me. So Popcat, looking good. I've got a bot coming for you guys. Now let's talk Ping. And I see my Tao buy entry is hit. Okay, this is good stuff. Okay, Ping is a meme coin I want to build an entry on. You can see I've just opened my first buy on WeX at the moment. I'm going to explain Ping in a second to you guys. Then Tao, this was a limit buy order at my short TP zone that I gave you guys the other day. It was 492. Okay, was my 490. What was my limit order? It's like 490, 491, something like that. Okay, so that order is hit now in my hot zone. So that is the first buy zone for Tao. And then WIF, I bought my first bit of WIF yesterday, and then I've got limit orders lower down for WIF. So I'm going to take you through all of this now, and let's go. Let's talk. Here's WIF. Okay, so drop through our first zone. Now I've got another order for WIF waiting for me. I want to collect some at 2.19. Then I'm going to collect some more at 2.12. So these are the hot zones for me on WIF. That is where I'm going to grab it, 2.197 and 2.12. Those are the buy zones. That is where I'm adding to that WIF position, trying to create a WIF position size. Obviously, the upside goal is to push higher, break trend, do these types of things. But right now, we want this bullish pullback. We're looking for a nice juicy buy. We want to accumulate a little bit of position there on WIF. So that is looking good then for us so far on WeX. And then here's Ping, and the same story. I've got my first buy in on Ping, and we were talking about this on Sniper Club earlier today. And look, one of my DGen meme trader friends at Banter likes this Ping thing. Okay, and he was like, he's taking a Ping trade. I was like, oh, fuck it, okay. And I've started to buy a position here. So 0.161, okay, that's our first zone. That's 50-day MA, that's 382 fib. So that's a nice little region for me. And then you can see it's a little bit tricky with these memes. It's a 9% drop. Okay, from where we are. Okay, 8% drop from where we are. And then I'm going to have another limit order sitting at 0.1476. So I'm trying to accumulate some positions here. Let's see if this works for me. I've got the 100-day MA as well at that region, and then looking for a nice bullish bounce there. So Ping could be a vibe coming. There's some big targets to the upside. Let me just show you the daily chart as to why this looks interesting to me. Couple of targets here. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Okay, lots going on here. To the upside. So here's a little target here for you guys. Look at that. We just come and take out that wick at 26. What could that give us potentially? Let's just look at the size of that move. A 66%, give or take, that we could look at there on Ping. So that is why I'm interested in that. So I've got my buy in here on WeX, and Tao's limit order hit. We're going to talk Tao. This is good, Ray. We're getting a nice pullback here, bro. Bitcoin's doing nothing though. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm getting reset on my phantom trade here, right? What's going on there? What's going on? How's our Radium? No. Radium's not doing anything. No, bro. This is ridiculous. Okay. So Ping you've got. Let's talk GRT. So I'm in a GRT short last night on that pump. And where's Tao? We're going to talk Tao. Tao is next. Okay. Last night on that pump, straight after Jd'Rome Powell, I had a limit order 0.16, and I'm sure I gave you guys this exact level. Ray, did you get this exact level? You did. Where are you? You hiding? He's hiding. Where is he? Bring him out. There he is. You got this yesterday, right? I did cover this level yesterday or the day before. I've lost your sound there, Ray.
Yes, mic check. Can you hear me?
Okay. So it was 0.16. I had my limit order 0.16Y, anchored VWAP, 618, 50-day MA, horizontals. Okay, that thing is pinged, that thing is hit, and now we are sending GRT down. Now, it's the same principle for all of these things. We're looking for a bullish pullback to the downside on GRT. Let's see what type of pullback we can get here. And for me, your zones of interest that you want to watch, GRT traders. If you are short, you're looking at 0.14. And if you are looking for longs, you're looking at 0.147 and 0.147 and 0.14. These are your long zones if we do get a dip into those areas. So 0.147 and 0.14. So let it play out a little bit. You can see why there was a hot zone. That is why I had conviction on that short in that area. Now let's talk 𝗬𝗨. I wonder if I'm going to get rinsed here. So this was my game plan on 𝗬𝗨 from the very beginning. And I've closed my short that I had in Bitfunded on 𝗬𝗨. And now we got to let this thing play out. But you can see my limit buy order kicked in at 492 for me on 𝗬𝗥𝗑. Now we got to play this one strategically. So you can see what we've got here. We've got our potential inverse head and shoulders. That is what I'd love to see here. And what I was saying to the Sniper Club guys earlier, let's look at this type of level here as a backup zone for us. So right now, 490, it's a buy zone. You can see I've bought my first buy there on 𝗬𝗨. Next level, 474. That is the next area where I want to see this thing hold. And then ultimately, if we do start sweating bullets here, it looks like 457 is going to be on the table next. Now you can see I'm using MDX Wave Master here, and this guy is still turning over. So it looks like it takes a little bit of time to get back to the downside. So let's see how this plays out, but we could have a little bit of up down here until we do hit one of these big zones for us on 𝗬𝗨. So brace yourselves, guys. If the market's falling over now, don't panic, okay? If the market's falling over now, don't panic. If you're shitting yourself now, you over-leveraged and you've been trading really bad areas, okay? So stay calm now. You've got some big zones that you can watch. You've got some big areas that you can start building positions. If you have a bullish bias, you know what to do now. You can low leverage or ladder into these things on hot zones, or you can wait for the reaction on these individual hot zones, then look for those breakouts off those types of areas. So there is a game plan. Just don't panic. Okay, remember, in a bull market, the most horrific thing is getting rinsed out, getting liquidated, and all these things when the market's bullish. You're saying, but the market's going up. Why am I getting rinsed? It's because you're over leveraging and you're buying in bad zones. So remember, you got to stay composed. You got to stay calm in all of these situations, and you can't get ahead of yourself. Yes, sir.
I concur with all of that. And the dollar is pumping for some reason. It's flying.
The Dixie is pumping. That's a bad sign. Let's look at our S&P quickly. S&P is doing nothing. BTC, okay, I've got stopped out of my phantom scalp long. Now this BTC short is in play. Okay, so let's see if we do get our downside here on BTC. Radium finally falling over here, right? Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's talk CAS because it's going to zero, I believe. And here it is. So, okay, CAS traders, this could be interesting. Okay, so I mean, we've looked at this chart before, and we were covering a couple of important levels, but what we had noticed with CAS, it never actually hit the 618. It was front running the 618. Now, here we've got a nice cluster there. There, we never really touched it, but here is our 618. So this is looking interesting, 0.09895. For CAS, that is a weekly level, that is weekly support, and I would expect on a weekly level, you get some kind of bounce out of this thing, okay? It might come lower down at some point, but I expect some kind of bounce, 0.09895. That is the big support that you want to pay attention to there on CAS. If we start losing levels, things get ugly, your next potential buy zone, and it's not a strong zone, it looks like quite a weak zone for me, is 77, okay? Not great. Where's the high conviction play? It's got to be this level here, 51, somewhere in that zone. Look at that banger zone. Look how thick that is on those weeklies. That could be your big banger there on CAS. So not to let anyone panic, but right now, big level for me, 0.09895. Okay, watch that as your support. Let's see. Let's just zoom in here quickly. Okay, there we go. So watching this region as your support. So look for a little dip. Look for that. Look for that dip into that type of zone there. Then maybe you get a little push off that guy. So yeah, CAS not looking good, guys. CAS was the darling of the market for how long? And now it's looking a little bit sad. Now I'm just thinking, have I done everything for you guys? Yes, I've covered everything, okay? We've got downside levels. There's a small pullback going on here. Maybe it turns into a big one, but at least you've got your big zones. Remember, worst case is we start losing the lows from our dumps that we had a week ago. Okay, if we start losing those lows, then all bets are off. We don't know then what is going to happen next. So right now, we want to hold 382s. We want to hold 618s. Hang in there, be patient, don't panic, okay? Work with these levels. At some point, we ping, and then we go back up, okay? Guys, hang in there. Ray? Captain, see you later.
Yes, sir.
See you guys later.
Happy Friday, y'all. First week with no liquidations. How about that?